A while back, I talked about the B-movie Battle Beyond the Stars, and how just because you've got a micro-budget, that doesn't mean your story has to be laughably bad. Today, I want to look at another B-movie, the 1991 Albert Pyun piece Dollman, and approach it from a similar angle. The plot follows a police officer named Brick Bardo on the planet Arcturus, which looks an awful lot like Earth with a red filter. Bardo chases Sprug, a flying cyborg head crime lord, through a wormhole. They both land on Earth, where Bardo is 12 inches tall, so Sprug is significantly smaller. Bardo gets abducted by Debbie, a single mom living in the Bronx who is trying to get the police to do something about all the gang activity. Sprug teams up with Braxton Red, played by Jackie Earle Haley, an Earth gangster who Bardo has already crossed in his brief time on Earth. Then Bardo eventually shoots some gangsters. On paper, the concept of an action figure-sized grizzled cop hunting gangsters in the Bronx sounds amazing, but it's when you get to the finer details of this movie that it starts to fall apart. Generally, everything in a movie should have a purpose. A long scene might feel gratuitous, but it might establish tone, set up some important aspect of one of your characters, or it might have a plot point that at first seems unconnected to what's going on in the rest of the movie, but later ties in with everything else. But watching Dollman, there are so many times where I thought I knew what the movie was doing based on a character, an interaction, or some tried and true trope I was familiar enough with to know what the movie would attempt. But then the movie takes a hard left turn, puzzling me every time. At the beginning of the movie, Bardo handles a hostage situation on his homeworld that gets the mayor in a tizzy, and the mayor wants Bardo fired because elections are soon, and he doesn't need this kind of heat. Okay, so the mayor is corrupt, right? And Bardo's loosey-goosey antics that get results are going to expose him for the criminal he is. No, we don't see the mayor after this. The mayor screams at the chief to fire Bardo, and the chief has a knowing look, and the next thing we know, some goons are firing guns in Bardo's apartment and kidnapping him. Oh, so the chief is corrupt, right? And he's using his criminal empire connections to get rid of Bardo, to get the mayor off his butt. Oh, we don't see the chief again after the mayor yelled at him to fire Bardo. And before Debbie meets Bardo, she's having a meeting with the chief of police in the Bronx, and he's saying, we'll try to clean up the streets, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Oh, so he's corrupt, right? He's working with the gangsters Bardo will be mowing through on Earth, right? His serpentine maneuvering in this scene screams, I'm a secret bad guy. You guessed it, we never see him again after this one scene. And later, Debbie is telling Bardo that her baby daddy used to be a gangster. Then they met. For a while, their relationship was great. Then he went back to being a gangster. Then he died. Later in the movie, Braxton Red has kidnapped Debbie, and they both know each other on a first-name basis. Did he know her baby daddy? Is he the baby daddy? And that was just a lie she told her son to keep him out of his father's life? Oh no, they just know each other by name, but no connection to that scene where she's explaining what happened to her boyfriend. Going back and looking at some of their scenes together, I'm starting to think the intention here is that Red is Kevin's father. Red seems very protective of Debbie, despite her fighting to get the gangs out of the Bronx. And when Red and his crew come to Debbie's apartment looking for the Dollman, he greets Kevin, and Debbie gets excessively angry, almost like they both know who Kevin is to Red, but Kevin doesn't know. If that's not me reading too much into the movie, that's pretty great stuff. There are so many missed opportunities that could have made this movie much more interesting. I get the feeling Pyun was mostly interested in a tiny grizzled cop shooting people, but you can do that and have some substance in your movie. What if Braxton Red really is the father of Debbie's son, and Bardo realizes, yes, some criminals are bad, but there's also a socioeconomic factor involved. Maybe Braxton at first only stole to support his family because times were tough. Then he got caught and did time, and it was even harder for him to find a legit job because of his record, so he feels forced to return to a life of crime. That can make Bardo reconsider his outlook on life. Or what about Sprug, the crime lord Bardo chased to Earth? I bet he played a big part in the movie, right? Not really. He has a bomb which he says will tear a hole in the universe, and he will give it to Braxton if Braxton and his boys acknowledge Sprug as leader. Braxton squishes Sprug and takes the bomb. Funny, yes, but Sprug should have had some kind of emotional importance to Bardo. In the scene where Debbie tells Bardo her boyfriend died, Bardo offhandedly mentions that he doesn't have any family anymore. What if Sprug is the one who killed Bardo's family? Then we would really want the catharsis of seeing Bardo finally avenge them after years of chasing this guy. This seems like a no-brainer. At the very least, Sprug is the reason Bardo is stuck on this planet, so you want to pay off their near encounter earlier in the movie, not see him get squashed by some bad guy with no connection to Bardo. I don't know what filming this movie was like, but seeing so many squandered possibilities makes me feel like they didn't really know what they were doing, or at the very least, they were much more focused on the technical aspects than the narrative. And I will give the movie this, there aren't very many scenes where you get to see Bardo sharing a screen with one of the normal-sized humans, but in the 2 scenes where he does, it doesn't look bad. There's some kills in the first 10 minutes of the movie that look amazing and are very nearly worth the price of admission alone. Sometimes, when people make fun of these small-budget movies, they tend to focus on the physical stuff the movie did wrong. But as I mentioned in my video on Battle Beyond the Stars, I'm not as concerned with that as I am getting the narrative right on script. That's what I'm most interested in with a $10 billion movie and a $10 movie. And while I think the effects look not bad in this movie, the story and character stuff unfortunately left a lot to be desired. So that's it for today. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, I'll be back next week to talk about something else. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.